my next question was going to be, how, when, and where did sort of modern PE go off the rails? Did you just basically explain that with the World War II geopolitical angle, or was there other ways that you think things sort of devolved or sort of went awry?
That's a good question. I mean, if you look at a historic timeline, right, we're going from prehistoric to 2021. You see spikes in fitness during times of war. And so post World War I would say that we didn't see a big spike in really great PE. We saw a lot of sports, but then we saw another big spike with good, solid training methods in World War II. And then we saw a real de-evolution in the 50s. And then the Cuban Missile Crisis, JFK, the tension with the United States and Soviet Union caused more attention on physical fitness. And that was part of JFK's message, to vigorously get involved in the game again, instead of sitting on the sidelines. And he got behind La Sierra High School and used that as his poster child, and 4,000 schools across the country followed the La Sierra model, and people came from all over the world to look at that PE program and how they were doing things. And then that type of training, again, was very formalized at times. Not all of it, but a lot of it was very formalized. And Laprade himself described it as forceful by design, on purpose. And then with the 60s protest and the anti-Vietnam sentiment, it suffered a bit. And then people said that, they were just training the boys to go to war. It's like, well, if you really know physical education, there's a way to train the most amount of people in the least amount of time with the least amount of resources. And the calisthenics and the off-the-ground apparatus, that's just how you do it, whether you're going to war or not. It really didn't have anything in particular to do with, he's just training everybody to go to war. He was training people to preserve their nation in good and bad times, period, end of story. So, but then the school closed in '83, and PE really took a dive in the '70s, after the war was over, and it's really never come back. I mean, in a sense, PE, American physical education died with JFK.
Wow.
In a sense, yeah, the good stuff. Now, our film has brought a lot of attention to the importance of classical PE.
What's the name of the film?
The Motivation Factor.
Okay, great.
Yeah, the website is motivationmovie.com. It was made by Doug Orchard Films. I was the executive producer and historian for the film. And I think it won a number of awards. We were actually here in Hollywood at one of the film festivals and won that. And it's a good piece of work that will outlive me, and I think that's important as a person, that if you're involved in a film, you like to think it's going to outlive your life and have some purpose along the timeline. And I do, without reservation, I can say that film will live on when Doug and I are not here.
Definitely put a link to that video description. So,
and really, it's the fastest way. People like classical PE. Like, this is an interesting topic for Ben and Ron to talk about. If you really want to know in 90 minutes what it is, watch the film. It's you'll get a very good idea of what I'm all about and why the topic is important. And really, it's not just like me. It's what's behind me. It's and what history says is no nation will continue without that type of PE. So we're at a real crossroads today. And this is why the message is so important. This conversation is important. The presentations I've been doing this year to influential groups is important. Because we really, as I pitched a couple weeks ago in the keynote symposium, is we need a national PE initiative. And it needs to be top down. The grassroots efforts are fine, the gyms are fine, the families working with their children, that's all important. But at this point, we need something coming out of Washington, D.C. that's bipartisan. I don't care what party gets behind it, but someone needs to do it, and soon. It's because if not, we might not be able to have this kind of conversation in the near future. Yeah, it's that important.